Hi, Michael here today, and what we are going to do is what I call the ultimate guide to building Gibraltar racks. I'm going to show you how to take the basic Gibraltar gong rack that you can buy and turn it into something like what I have behind me. So first, we are just going to build the standard Gibraltar gong rack. I don't have one of those, but I do have all the parts to make one out of the box. So a couple of my parts are a little different, but they're working the same. So we're going to just build the basic Gibraltar square gong rack. So what you have, your parts, you will have 2 feet, 4 43-inch tubes, 2 12-inch tubes, 4 T-clamps, 2 extender clamps. Mine are chrome. Normally they will be black. And then 2 gong hooks. And I'll talk about that when we get it set up because I use different gong hooks. But basically this is the Gibraltar gong stand that they sell. So let's put it together. First thing we will do, we'll take one of our upright bars here. This will go into a leg and we'll put a T-clamp on it. This will be for the lower bar. Make sure these are loosened up enough. That is, this side is not. Okay, there we go. Now I'm not going to worry about placing it right now. Okay? So we'll put this in and tighten it down. Well, here, we'll just put this up so it's out of the way. There we go. We have one leg and one upright post. So put that on the side and we will make the other one. Now on mine, I already have the extenders put on there because I actually took this whole stand apart. And those are drum key ones. The ones that come standard have the big wing screws like this one. Okay. There we go. Now we'll just tighten this again so it's not in the way. And take a leg here. And put this on there. Tighten it down. Now, as a single gong stand, it really doesn't matter where you put this bottom bar. You can put it all the way down, or we put it slightly up. All the way down can work, and we'll do that for now. What we want to do is take this bottom tube here, put it in, make sure it's at a good angle here, and then tighten things. And here's the problem here is we run into the wing screws against each other. So I'm going to move this one up a little. It really doesn't matter because we'll have room for the gong anyway. Okay. That nice and tight. Okay, so there's that. It's pretty square. Then we'll take the other side put that in here. And we want to match the height. Now for me, I always measure. Let me get my tape measure over here. I always have a tape measure and a level here in my studio to make sure things are fine. So let's see how far up this one is. This is just a little over 4 inches. So we'll look at this one, position it the same. Four. Actually, I should have measured and done. Here, let's do this. Much easier to do it this way. Put it this way. That's 4 inches, and we need to be up just a little. Okay. Tighten these back ones. If I don't bump that, it should hold. Put it in. Tighten it down. Okay. The big thing we want to do, make sure it's sturdy. All right, because if you get things askew, it could wobble some, but this is good. It seems sturdy. We're in good shape. Move all these parts here. We'll move this back. All right, there's the bottom. Next thing we will do, take these little 12-inch ones, put them up here. Now you could go the other way. You could put the 12-inch ones at the bottom and the larger one at the top. It doesn't really matter. But for what I'm doing today, when we expand this, this is the way we want them. Oops, here goes my key. Tighten this down. Actually, I should not tighten this one. Leave that loose. Next thing, we want to get the top here. Another T-clamp. And I just put it on and line it up to the top of the tube. Tighten that a bit. Here's our crossbar, our upper one. And then I will take this. Put this on the tube. Okay. Tighten that down a little bit. There we go. Now, where's my key? There it is. Now I'll tighten this one. If I was really looking to make sure everything's fine, I would get the level out, but I'm just going to tighten these up. Make sure this is where I want it. Now, I use a different type of clamp or hanger on my stand. I use a memory lock with an S hook from the hardware. The ones, these are metal. The ones that come from Gibraltar in the stand kit are plastic. And I don't like plastic fittings at all because there's nothing worse than opening your case after you've traveled to a gig and your gong hook is broken off. or something. Okay, here's our basic Gibraltar gong stand that you can buy from any of the stores out there, internet stores, or maybe your local store. And this will hold up to like a 40-inch gong. Let's put a big gong on there. I'll put my 36-inch wind gong. Okay, let me grab that. Okay, here's my wind gong. It's packed up. I just had a gig last night. Let's take it out. And hang it. Make sure it's sturdy. It's sturdy. This is not going to move anywhere. Get this out of the way. Okay, here we go. Let's grab a mallet. Your basic Gibraltar gong stand. Now right away you might notice a problem with this. The gong's really low. This is great like this if you sit and play. It can be perfect. You could even lower it a little more if you needed. This can be perfect for sitting, but as you can see, I'm much taller and I don't really want my gong down here. This was designed as an orchestral gong stand for like the local symphony orchestra or a college band. And there, the use of the gong is completely different because basically the percussionist would stand like this and play it like that, like a single stroke or maybe a couple of strokes, and just a hit. So this is ideal if you are playing in a symphony and you're hanging a big gong. It's perfect. But if you're a sound worker, yeah, this is good if you sit down. If you stand up, it's okay if you want to play your gong down here. As you notice on my rack behind there, I like my gongs up in the air more. At least my main gongs are up on the top row. My secondary gongs are on the bottom row. So let's expand this to be a taller stand that's a little more usable. Take this off and let's just set it over here. Now what I'm going to do is exchange. Where did I put those? Ah, here they are. I have two 36-inch tubes. I'm going to exchange these for the 12-inch tubes. So if you buy this gong stand complete in the box like this, and you want to make it higher, you just need two taller tubes. Depending on how high you want it, you could go with two 24-inch tubes, which will get you up to about here, or the 36-inch, which will get you up to here. So it depends on how tall you are and how high you want your gongs. So the first thing I will do is let's get this top bar off. Just loosen it and slide it off. And it's fun. What I like about all the Gibraltar stuff is you can build what you want. And as you can see from my big rack, I've done just that. Take this off. There we go. Okay, we'll take these short guys out. And save all your pieces. Maybe I'll put up a picture of some of my pieces. I have enough pieces to probably make 2 or 3 double racks because I keep buying stuff and I don't use all of it, but I save it. So we'll take one of these 36-inch ones put it in there, tighten it down. Let's take this other 12-inch off. Swap that out for the 36. Tighten that down. Get this out of the way so I don't step on it. Now we'll take our top bar and we'll just put that up here. Slide it over. And tighten it down. Okay, got it at the top. I'll tighten it. There's one. Okay. Get this one. It's at the top. Tighten it. Whoops, I gotta rotate my top tube here. There, get the hooks down. There we go. I always want to make sure these things are tight. Right before I play, I always go around and I check all the wing nuts, make sure they're tight. Sometimes I'll miss one when I'm setting up because I'm moving along and I'll miss tightening one. And there's nothing worse than playing and you hear a rattle. And you know it's a wing nut and you're like, which one is it? And you're in the middle of a session kind of feeling your way around trying to find the one that is rattling. And also you don't want to like your rack falling over. So I always double check everything and make sure. Let's put the gong back on there. Okay. Now you can see it's up in the air much more. I'm over here. And I could either shorten the cord or spread it out if I want to bring it up a little more, because I do have probably about a good 6-7 inches there from the top of the stand, but from the cord it's probably like 4 inches, so I can bring it up a little more if I want, but this is good. Now, what I can do, I can raise this bottom bar. Let's use this. So I'll put it up here so it's just under the gong, and then I can hang things from that. I could hang this, maybe 2 smaller gongs, 3 smaller gongs. I could hang Burma bells. I could hang other bells, different percussion. So that's what I would do. I would move that bottom bar up and hang some percussion on there. Now if I'm using a smaller gong up here, let's say I'm just using maybe a 30-inch or a 28, I can get that bar up quite a bit and hang a second gong, just like I have behind here. I've got a 32-inch here and a 28 on the bottom. So then you could double up on your gongs. So that's what this big stand behind me started out with, was basically this type of a setup that I put together from parts because I didn't buy the actual stand. Now let's say you want to go 2 across. Well, you get another one of these, 2 of these extension clamps. You put them on the end of each bar and then you put a second bar in there and you spread these out. And you can see up here I have an extension clamp and I have another one here. So I actually have 2 36-inch bars going across. So I have 7 feet across. And I can comfortably hang 2 32-inch gongs next to each other. going across. And then I could probably hang two 32s on the bottom. I think they would clear the floor there. So that's another way to expand this, is if you want it wider, just get two other bars. You could get 24-inch. You could get 36-inch. You could even use these guys, 12-inch. So if you look at it, that's going to expand you out to right here. If you're using two smaller gongs, so that gives you about, what, 55 inches. There you go. That's an easy way to expand things. So always save your parts. Maybe I'll take a picture of my parts bucket. Well, I'll put this here. Okay. Well, now let's look at, you've built this stand and you want to have some wings on it. Okay? Pretty easy to do. We're going to do this. We'll take this off again. And the current stand I'm using for most of my sessions is one like this with the 36-inch. And I have a wing on this side with a 28, and I have two wings on this side with a 24 and a 22, and then I hang Burma bells on the bottom bar here, and then I have two stick trays coming out. But let's do that. So what we need another T-clamp. Let's move this over here a little bit. I'm going to want to loosen this once more. I don't know if I can just kind of pop it off. So I'm going to have to loosen this up a little. Now, there are two types of clamps you could use. The T-clamp works well. There's another one that just clamps on. But we'll take this one and make sure it's open enough. Put this on here. Just kind of tighten it to hold it. Okay. And we'll put this back on. Tighten it down. Tighten this side back down. Now let's make sure. And also you hate to see one side slide down on you. Okay, so we've got this here. We can have it come off this side. Won't put it all the way up because you have to have a little room for your wing screws. So here's a crossbar here that I have two hooks on. So I can put that on here, and we'll tighten that up. There we go, and let's pop a gong up there. Let's take this. So 28-inch should fit. We've got the 28. Let's put this back. We got our 36 and a 28 there. We can mirror it on the other side and have 3 gongs across. These pieces here are 12-inch from the original stand. We could get 2 more T-clamps. Maybe put these down here. Hang a bell, Burma bell, hang a wind chime, hang something like that. You can do that on either side. So save all your pieces. So there's a basic Gibraltar gong stand and how to expand it. Other things we could do, we could put wheels on it. The one I use for my sessions out in the field has wheels on it, so I can move around. It's got the Gibraltar wheels. You can do that, and that will lift it up about 5 inches, I think, higher with the wheels, because they're really big, they're really nice. You can do that, put wheels on it so you can move it around in your studio. That could be nice, or sometimes when you're playing, and especially teaching workshops, it's nice to be able to move it around, but you could do that. Yeah. As you can see behind me, I've got, like I said, this is a wing here, just like this, same sort of thing. And then I put another upright section with a foot at the bottom. So I've got 2 gongs there. And here's another wing coming off of that with another upright and a foot to put another gong. And then I have one of my mallet trays affixed to that. On the other side, I have 4 wings coming off of it, going into another upright and a foot. So I've got my mallet tray here, and I usually hang bells and things on the bottom, or maybe a gong. Here I've got verba bells and tune gongs, and then I've got copper-clad bells at the top. So again, I like the Gibraltar stuff. I've been using the drum racks for my drum sets, gosh, since about 1990, I think. I think that's when Tama and Gibraltar started making drum racking, and I liked the idea, so I bought it for my drum set and was using it on all my drum sets. And then when I really got into the gong thing, and I wanted to get away from the basic parts.The gong stand, which is not flexible at all. It's a nice stand if you don't have to move it. It's heavy, and building it is a pain. I've got a 32-inch double stand that's over there in the corner. I never use it because it's a pain. So, and I've got a round stand too, one of the ring ones from parts.The that I've had for 50 years now. Oh, that's crazy. But I don't use either of those unless I need another stand for something, because they're not flexible and they're heavy and awkward and all. This stuff is pretty lightweight. You can break it down. This whole stand here can go into one bag, which is nice. And again, it's very flexible. I can build what I need. And down here in my studio, I have the big rack. I've got a double rack over here. Behind it, I've got another rack. Over here, I've got a rack with 6 bell plates on it. I've got a rack over here with my cooling tongue on it. I've got 2 racks in my living room right now. I have the one I'm using, that's basically sort of this rack. And then I have a duplicate of the big rack here with without this side on it. I've got that up in a case upstairs. And I have another rack over here for my big bass drum. So I've got lots of Gibraltar racking because it's so flexible. I can build what I need and play a gig. It's like, okay, I don't need the wing. I can just take the wing off. Or I need 2 wings. I can add another one here or another one on that side. It's very flexible. So there we go. Starting with the basic, I don't even know what it's called. I think it's just called Gibraltar gong stand. I'll put pictures of all the parts and all the part numbers up so that you know what they are. But the basic Gibraltar orchestral gong stand and how to build from it. So we added taller uprights. I added 36-inch in place of the 12-inch ones, but you could easily do 24-inch depending on how tall you are or how high you want it. And that would work out the same way. So I substituted 2 of those. And then to add a wing, just like a T-clamp and another bar. I think this is a 30-inch bar. No, I can measure it. I've got, here we go. Let's measure this. This is, okay, it's a 24-inch bar. Okay, so I got a 24-inch bar and I've got a 28-inch gong on it. If I want to put a bigger gong on, I could get a 30-inch bar. Now, one thing you have to watch, this is something, if you look on Gong's Unlimited website, they sell the official Gongtopia stand, which is basically this stand I just built with 2 wings. The official Gongtopia stand. They have a little bigger version up there. But that's what this is. So you can buy it all put together in a box, all the right parts from Gong's Unlimited. And I have to thank Andrew and everybody there for giving me credit for designing this whole thing, so I appreciate it. So you can get the official Gongtopia stand, and they have a nice video on how to build it, but they don't tell you one important thing. The way I play, I like to have my gong more at an angle like this. And I'll have 2 of them at an angle. Because if I'm using this as my center here, then I've got these angled out, and I'll have a bottom one with another gong here, and then I'll have a bottom here. Both of those bottoms will have stick trays on it, just like these, and then I usually hang bells and things underneath here. But the problem you have is, depending on how much you angle and how you set things up, is that gets you a lot of forward lean. You have to be careful that it's not going to come over on you, especially if you get things swinging. You don't want your rack to like do this. So what you need to do, I don't have it on this because I usually use this as just a single rack. Let me take this, let me find a clamp here. Okay, this is not a T-clamp, but I'll show you what you do. Normally, we tend to put the clamp in the middle of the legs like this, okay? And you can see down here, they're pretty much centered in the middle. But again, if you're going to swing your extension bars on either side, swing them towards you more, yeah, that gives you a lot of front lean, and it could topple the stand on you. So what you need to do is take your legs, here's the front, or the feet, here's the front of the foot, here's the back of the foot. Slide them more this way so that you have more foot in front, so that it's longer in front. That will help to keep it from becoming unbalanced. Now, because your side gongs are more forward, you're not going to have a problem in the back if you have less of the foot in the back. That's not going to be a problem. But if you do, especially if you got big gongs like 28s or 30s or even 32s, yeah, you want to take the leg or take the foot and you want to have it this way, where there's more of it to the front. And you might even want to, if you're using really big gongs and you got it up high, you might want to get even longer bars to use for the feet. The ones down here, let me measure them instead of trying to guess what they are. Let's see, how long are these here? These are, okay, these are 20 inches. That's what I thought. Those are 20-inch ones. You might want to buy 24 inches. Give you 4 extra inches and have it come out so that it's coming out to like here. And right about here, to keep things, again, so that you don't have a tippage problem. Then the only thing you really have to watch about is that you're not going to trip on it. But I have never tripped on my rack, and that's how I have it set up. I have it coming forward quite a bit more to prevent that. It's still stable, but it's not going to tip. I don't want to be playing like this and hit a gong and get the gong swinging and suddenly it's like, whoa, it pulls the whole thing over. So that's a safety tip. That's important to know, especially if you buy the Gongtopia stand and you're flying big gongs up in the air and you have them coming, your side ones coming more in, so you have a V. They don't tell you that in the video because I don't think they thought of that, but I've been using this stand for 20 years, 25 years, and I've gone through all kinds of variations, and I've had that happen where it's tipped on me. So move your feet forward a little bit to really take care of that. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope this was informative, and I hope it gives you some ideas of how to expand maybe what you already have in your Gibraltar stands, and gives you some ideas if you want to get into Gibraltar and build something. Again, it's great because it's customizable. You get the basic square parts.The stand. That's what it is. You get some of the other commercial stands from the companies, and that's what it is. You get a bicycle stand to hold your gong. Well, it's a bicycle stand and it holds your gong in one place. And those are great, but it depends on what you do. Okay, thanks for watching. Just remember, Gibraltar stuff, you can do what you want. It's customizable. It tears down, it packs up very small and easy. It's fairly light compared to the big heavy steel parts.The and other type stands. And it's sturdy. All the fittings are metal except for the gong clamps that they make, and they'll last if you don't hit them on the road in a case or something. But it's great stuff. So thanks for watching. This Cup of Talk's about Gibraltar gong stands. And remember, go to Gongs Unlimited. You can get the official Gongtopia stand there. Thanks.